A lovely good evening and a very warm welcome to our main news bulletin on Camnet TV. Let's look at the headlines. Traders in LUSAKA'S MUTENDERE East oppressed by a political party, CADRES. ZESCO to start settling arrears it owes to MAAMBA collieries as part of resolving power disputes. Zambia economic growth coincidental charges PF presidential hopeful CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI. In our international headlines, Senegal mourns dozens killed in bush crash. And in our sports headlines, another World Cup record for Zambia as CHIKOTESHA gets top appointments. We have the details shortly.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
On 9th January 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua as he hosts the FTD President, Madam Edith Nawaku.
Why are we poor? We have resources. Why are we poor? We are poor because we like to govern from the center. The challenge is that Zambia is mapped as mineral rich, but we don't know the value of what is there. We've just been scratching on top.
As they discuss a positive look at the economy of Zambia.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for joining us to present the main news. My name is Louisia Nalupumbwe. Valley View Marketeers Cooperative Society Chairman Crispin Mwanza has lamented the alleged oppression from political party cadres belonging to the United Party for National Development at MUTENDERE East Market, where the cooperative operates. Speaking to Camnet TV News, the chairman explains that the cooperative has the task of collecting revenue for electricity from traders and other utilities at the market, stating that it is these funds that the cadres come demanding for. He has since called for the demolition of the United Party for National Development party office at the market, questioning if such offices should be allowed in such facilities despite the call from the head of state to end cadreism. We have the details in the following report.
While reports of cadreism in Lusaka Central Business District have reduced, the vice is reportedly thriving in community markets. This is an office belonging to the United Party for National Development UPND at MUTENDERE East Market near the National Resources Development College NRDC, which has been locked up by the Zambia police after reports of cadreism from market officials operating from this office. Valley View Marketeers Cooperative Society Chairperson Crispin Mwanza explains that the market is run by the cooperative, adding that cooperative leaders have been at loggerheads with market officials from the UPND office who dissolved the cooperative leadership without following due procedure and have been demanding that they hand over all funds collected from the market, such as those for electricity.
My surplus yesterday, it was the UPND cadres came, the name of Mr. Snonge, the ward chairman, and Mr. Bonga and the rest, and the wife of Mr. Snonge. They came here to close the office. Then most of the time, when they visit us in the office, they always demand 2,000 kwacha. We don't have that money. We don't have that money. The man which are correcting is very, even you can see, the shops are closed. All shops are closed. So now we said we don't have money, and most of them they're saying, if you don't have money, which means us, we're going to remove you. But when I take up, madam, the union, they want to take up. Then we have most of the time we take and drama. That's just good.
Meanwhile, Cooperative Treasurer Charles Nyirenda has alleged that the said CADRES broke into the cooperative office, which had over 25,000 kwacha of revenue, and even changed the lock of the office.
They have put in, they have removed the lock which we locked the office. Surprisingly, I found that they have put in their own lock. Now, I left some money which we collected. The levies which we collected in this market. I also left something, my own pocket money, which I use my own business. That's I'm doing bakery. Yeah. So what we want, what I'm asking for is just they come and open for us, please. If they open so that we see what we left inside, if they are there.
Meanwhile, a concerned UPND member, Moses Chinza, has also commented on the issue.
So now these guys with impunity yesterday, they came, chased out these guys who are here, locked up the officers, and with impunity, they said that we actually dissolved the committee without following out the procedure. I want to make the point very, very clear. Much as I'm concerned, there is nobody who's going to take it all into their own hands. UPN is a law-abiding party. These guys are not answerable to the cadres. These guys are only answerable to the union. Moreover, there was a very big problem here, of which there was a mountain of garbage, which was actually accumulating just behind there.
The matter is currently being investigated by the Zambia police, while police call-outs have been issued for the accused parties. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Solwezi Central Member of Parliament Stafford Mulusa has assured traders at Kimasala Market in Solwezi District of plans to construct a modern market. Addressing the marketeers during a tour of the market, Mr. Mulusa has taken note of the challenges that the traders are facing, such as the need to construct public toilets as the existing toilets are old and clogged. And some of the traders have disclosed that they are forced to use private toilets despite them paying levies to the government, and thus public toilets have to be constructed for sanitation purposes. Other traders say sanitation standards at the market is poor, and some people relieve themselves in open business areas.
so that plan market yaki masaya sangatari ayo matunga ke imi kafi ama kano tuasanta emi shikira boso bakona kwa tuma shop watu ndikira kwa page kwa kabibi shop now tukakewa kwa investor wa kwa watu ngatu masho ndio impatu shop hivyo.
Teacher Child Advocacy Association of Zambia says it has embarked on a 6-month community sensitization project on children's rights and fighting gender-based violence. Speaking to Camnet TV News shortly after a reflection meeting with stakeholders in MAAMBA district, Association Executive Director Enoch Siame observes that many children, especially in rural areas, do not know their rights. Hence, the 6-month sensitization project cannot be underestimated. Mr. Siame has since called on all stakeholders, including traditional leaders, to get involved in fighting the scourge. We have details in the following report.
Protecting the rights of children is crucial to the survival, health and well-being of Zambia's new generation. It is from this view that Teacher Child Advocacy Association of Zambia (TCA'S) in MAAMBA district of Central Province has held a reflection meeting to appreciate the strides stakeholders play in relation to child right advocacy. Enoch Siame is the association executive director, who notes that the fight for children's rights call for community sensitizations.
There is need to intensify community sensitization so that we bridge the gap which is there between teachers who interact with learners at school and parents who are found with the learners at home. And then we involve children themselves. We want to run away from the storyline of adults talking on behalf of children. This time around, we want to inculcate, to transform, the self-esteem of young people, to enable the acquisition of human rights, the dignity, and their freedoms.
An education champion and a traditional leader have also added their voice.
The biggest challenge is ignorance in these communities. Parents cannot respect the human rights. They think the human right has just come to separate them from taking control of their children. The other challenge, they take a girl child as the one who should just depend on a man after marriage, and as also one way of getting wealth.
Namona pakuikara pakutanyika kuchipamoja amiparwami nove ntangi nove dimani kumo na waminwa twaitu twajijire kanga tulekere ponkapo kanga tulekere ambaba atika zikoba kanga tulekere ba president kwamba bambe ngatu kimye kyonse twalinga kuikara na masamijo mambo paskuru popa imana byonse.
Meanwhile, Priscilla Mbozi has observed that men, women and girls in rural areas have challenges on reporting their problems to relevant authorities and has since thanked CADRES for taking up the initiative of community sensitizations.
Iba magaintu mumanda balatenga balawumwa kuba malume babo amana banyina bakutola mapenzi bakala bolo wawumwa bunyina nkwaya so mapenzi mumizi motukala manji so twalumbati kazi yalo yabo utaliga kubuya abuyiya bukoni bwabana abamatumbu ikuta babahibe kwabana kutola mapenzi.
Matias Chewe, Camnet TV News, Mumbua.
The opposition Patriotic Front aspiring President CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI has refused to attribute some growth in the Zambian economy to President Hakainde Hichilema's administration. Mr. KAMBWILI says President Hakainde Hichilema must not brag about growing the economy, adding that it is coincidental as the global community is healing from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change issues. He alleges the global economy is rebounding, so it is obvious that Zambia is benefiting from global changes. Meanwhile, Fitch Solutions forecast has projected that in 2023, Zambia's economic growth will accelerate to 3.7%, driven by a recovery in mining exports and strong private investments. We have details in the following report.
The Trading Economics projects Zambia as one of the poorest countries in the world, with 60% of the population living below the poverty line. Zambia's economy has been growing rapidly and due to expansion of copper mining industry and agricultural diversification, but any growth in the economy has not been able to translate into tangible benefits to ordinary citizens. Under the United Party for National Development administration, the country has seen some growth from negative to positive growth of between 2 to 3%, and President Hakainde Hichilema believes the economy is heading in the right direction.
To your views, receiving them, we welcome them. But remember, with the 5-year mandate, I think in the first 1 year, we've done pretty well. You can angle your own assessment. But for me, seated here, it's not enough. What we've done is not enough. I'm the first one to say we could do more.
But Patriotic Front aspiring President CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI charges that President Hichilema should not brag about any growth in the economy, saying it is owing to positive global changes.
Hakainde Hichilema has been boasting that after he came into office, the Zambian economy is on the recovery trajectory because of his leadership, and that we are now recording positive 2.5% of growth, GDP growth. But I want to tell you that from 2014, the world economy started plummeting to the effect that almost all the countries in the world by end of 2021, were in the negative in terms of growth, GDP growth. The only 2 countries in the world that recorded growth was China and Ethiopia at 1%. 1%. The rest of the countries, including the big economies in Africa, Nigeria and South Africa, were all in the negative. As we speak today, all the countries are recording growth of about between 1.6 to 2.5% growth.
It says previously the local economy was highly affected with the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change.
So it's not true that it's President Hakainde Hichilema who has made the Zambian economy to rebound to record 2.5% growth. It is just that the factors that led to the economy being in the negative have been overcome. If he's saying he's the one, is he the president in South Africa? Because South Africa is also recording growth of about 2.6, 2.5.
However, according to findings by the Zambia Institute for Policy Analysis and Research, ZIPA, Zambia's economy grew on account of financial discipline being observed by the government. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
President Hakainde Hichilema says power generation challenges should have been dealt with more than 30 years ago, expressing hope that his administration will ensure the problem is sorted out in the shortest possible time. Addressing the energy sector task force appointed to find a solution to the current energy crisis Monday at State House, President Hichilema has observed that there is a need for cooperations among various institutions to avoid any future occurrence of any energy crisis. The head of state has also disclosed that power utility ZESCO has agreed to set to the date it owes MAAMBA collieries by August 2023. President Hichilema says ZESCO and MAAMBA collieries have agreed to have the first part of the $518 million cleared by the end of April this year, and the remaining amount to be paid by August this year. More in this report.
An attempt to black out the media by some task force official at State House this morning, Monday the 9th of January 2023, during a meeting held to resolve the present energy crisis, had the plans prevented after the Republican President Hakainde Hichilema insisted that the media stick around during the initial discussion. President Hichilema insisted on the media being present as to avoid misinformation on the energy crisis, which seems to have taken center stage after the start of load shedding.
Task force or working group to deliver energy sufficiency and surplus. I think we must keep the theme alive. And the challenges we have maybe just provoke us to do what we should have done 30, 40 years ago as a country. That's the way I see things myself. That's how my brain works. So when people are complaining, flip the coin around, address the complaints, but ensure they don't complain again by finding solutions.
As the meeting commenced, President Hichilema noticed that ZESCO Managing Director was missing in action, a situation that prompted the head of state to order that the representative sent by ZESCO steps out and call. The ZESCO MD arrived 20 minutes later after the meeting had started, and in addressing a task force appointed to find solution to the current energy crisis, the head of state observed the need for cooperation among various institutions such as Ministry of Energy, Information and Green Economy to plan on such effects can be avoided in future and communicated to the people. The president also noted that it was not a hidden fact that the Zambezi River Authority did not do a good job in managing allocation water to the two countries, Zambia and its neighboring country, Zimbabwe.
That's good enough. Finances here. I notice this was, is this here?
Yes, Mr. President, we have presented. I didn't get the name. You can just see their name. My names are Roy Chichimba.
Okay. We'll give you time to to take a step outside, call the MD to come in. When we settle down.
Earlier, Green Economy Minister stole the show after the Energy Minister, who was tasked by the President to explain to the task force over the outcome of his visit at Kariba Dam and MAAMBA Collieries, failed to explain. The Energy Minister, who was expected to be on top of the show, considering the fact that the current situation is in line with his ministry, told the President that he had failed to be on site because of bad weather. However, alluded to the fact that he was visiting the site tomorrow.
I think when you visit Kafue and you stated then that load shedding had ended, that statement was spot on, because when you look at the Kariba and the Kafue system have enough water for generation. You generated the vegetation, you Kafue up, you generate a Kafue low. For the Kariba system, and unfortunately, ZRA did not, as you stated yourself, Mr. President, manage this resource as adequately as they should have.
President Hakainde Hichilema and members of the task force on Sunday visited MAAMBA Collieries Limited and Kariba Dam North Bank, which is a ZESCO hydropower system.
With respect to accrued liabilities, this is amounts going back to a few years since ZESCO wasn't paying its bills to MAAMBA, and they have also reached an agreement in respect of that. Specifically, they have agreed 2 milestones. Half of the outstanding amount due is payable by the end of April, and the balance of that amount is payable by the end of August.
At the moment, the country is experiencing a 12 hours load shedding treatment from last week, which effective 9th January 2023 has been split in 2 6-hour operations with outage breaks. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Zambezi River Authority is disappointed that the Zambia and Zimbabwean electricity companies and Zimbabwe Electricity Supply ZESCO and the Zimbabwe Electricity Supply Authority have been defying advice on water usage in the Kariba Dam. ZRA Chief Executive Officer Manyarazi Monodawafa says ZESA overused the water and the alarm was sounded in May, but that with limited powers to take punitive action, there is nothing they could do. Engineer Monodawafa also pointed out if maintenance works is done, there is a risk of losing 3 million lives and access to electricity, among other issues, if the dam is not rehabilitated. Meanwhile, Republican President Hakainde Hichilema acknowledged that the dam is not being properly managed by the 2 nations, thus directing ZRA to engage the ministerial committees of the 2 countries on the ongoing maintenance works. President Hakainde Hichilema says he would engage his Zimbabwean counterpart Emerson Mnangagwa regarding the reconstruction works at the Kariba Dam and the management of the dam in general. Mr. Hichilema said this on Sunday when he visited Kariba Dam.
It is not a secret that the energy sector is a huge catalyst to economic development, and any changes in this sector may spell progress or misery, like is the case now among the households and businesses. The ongoing 12 hours load management schedule has been widely received as a bitter pill only likened to chloroquine, given the abortive assurance to curb load shedding. Sunday, 8th January 2022, Republican President Hakainde Hichilema had to familiarize himself with the situation on the ground at the Kariba North Bank power station, and during the stakeholders meeting, a number of issues emerged following a presentation by the Zambezi River Authority. Electricity generation capacity in Zambia by ZESCO and others is the 3,634.43 megawatts, and the Kariba Dam contributes 10,080 megawatts of power. And due to unsustainable practices by Zambia and Zimbabwe electricity companies, such as the failure to adhere to recommended water usage, the issue of low water levels in the dam has emerged and the main attributes to the current power crisis, according to ZRA Chief Executive Officer Munyaradzi Munodawafa.
The problems the Basic Authority faces in terms of this regulatory authority which we have, we have no control over the inlet facilities, where if ZESCO is not generating what in accordance what we're going to close now. Unfortunately, when we inherited the authority, or when we inherited this, or rather when we mandated, one of the issues which we did not get was the control of the inlet facilities. Obviously, maybe it's best with the utilities. So we can only shout and shout.
He also gave an update on the dam maintenance and also made assurances that the power challenge may be over by February as the water situation improves.
The only improvement we are looking at is between the end of January now and going onwards. And we expect that by by end of February, or rather even mid-February, we expect that the load management that people are currently expecting should be something of the past. Should the current trend occur.
Meanwhile, President Hichilema acknowledges that the dam has not been properly managed by the two nations and called for a meeting to resolve the problem. He also disclosed that he will engage his Zimbabwean counterpart, Emerson Mnangagwa, on the matter.
Zambezi River Authority, the quicker you give us the information of the stabilization around here, then we can fit that into our own plans on the northern side of this asset. And we'll leave you to deal with that with your colleagues at ZESCO, and then obviously bilaterally at a country level. We want the best for Zimbabwe. I believe Zimbabwe wants the best for Zambia. We want the best for our economies. We deliver stronger economies in Zimbabwe and Zambia will make our people happy on both sides of the river.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
United Party for National Development UPND National Trustee Grace Kaluwe has urged President Hakainde Hichilema to consider relieving officials that are not performing up to the desired standards, stating that expectations of the Zambian people from the current administrations are high. In an interview, Ms. Kaluwe notes that the current administration has a duty to achieve within its 5-year mandate as it's promised the Zambian people, hence the need to ensure efficiency at all levels. She has, however, appealed to critics to the current administration to give it operating space, stating that labeling the current administration as a failed project before its 5-year tenure is not realistic. She has also applauded the visit taken by the head of state to MAAMBA collieries Sunday, stating that it is good for the president to appreciate challenges being faced by ordinary citizens.
Now, I'm appealing to my fellow Zambians. Ichamene bachitaba president. Tokoza chintu chikawama tatokoza. Nichito zambiri zamene banachita last year, mu 1 year and 4 months. Tisayangane chabe chintu chamene chikalibe kufika hapo mwamba kukamba ati banachichite. Zonse zamene bali promisa ba president banavichita. But pa electricity ba president banyamuka mutima wa baba. Olo it was learning ba president bananyamuka kuvala na jombo. Kuvala monga bali uma campaign. Kuyenda chabe kuona kuti you and me to receive. You and me tina electricity. You and me we are able to watch TV. Mafriji. Mwamene tinagula vakudya vonse va president banafika pamozi nichamene chinalengesa kuti ba president basiye nchito ya mu state house baende manje kukavutikila ife. So I'm just appealing to my fellow Zambians. This system of condemning, let us wait. Maybe the example, I can give you this example like a pregnant woman. Mimba is only for 3 months. You want mwana abadwe. Mwamene mwana bila kumangila chitenge pa mwamba mwana saabadwa. Mimbe kalibe kuupya. So tieni tikakondeme 5 years ikasila, then tikakondeme kuti Mr. Hichilema munakamba vaso na so si munavichite. Otherwise, HH means way to Zambians.
The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development says it has engaged various key institutions to help in effectively implementing Constituency Development Fund (CDF) in 2023. Ministry Permanent Secretary in charge of Technical Services, Nicholas Peary, explains that the current administration is confident of putting the 28.3 million kwacha CDF allocated in 2023 to good use, as some of the institutions will help in capacity building for local constructors domiciled in various constituencies. He was speaking during a joint press briefing with various representatives from the said institutions, such as the Engineering Institute of Zambia, among others. We have details in this report.
According to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, 100% of the 25.7 million kwacha 2022 Constituency Development Fund (CDF) was disbursed to all 156 constituencies in the country as of 31st December 2022. While this is the case, many citizens have been questioning what this fund has done for their communities so far, as little can be seen. To avoid falling into the same pit, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development says it is taking a different approach with the 28.3 million kwacha 2023 CDF to ensure that it is fully utilized. Addressing the media Monday at a joint press briefing with various stakeholders, Ministry Permanent Secretary in charge of Technical Services Nicholas Peary says one of these measures is engaging various key institutions to work with the government.
The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development has since delegated the power to approve the Constituency Development Fund applications to the provincial local government officers based at the provincial levels to be supervised by the provincial permanent secretary. This delegation, ladies and gentlemen, has been done in line with the provision of Section 68 of the Local Government Act No. 2 of 2019 and the Statutory Functions Act No. 6 of the laws of Zambia. This therefore entails that the provincial government officers in each province will approve 1. All the community projects, including the disaster component. 2. All applications for youth, women, and community empowerment. And 3. All applications for secondary boarding and skills development.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Director MAAMBA Chansa says the loan aspect of CDF has also been unlocked in 2023.
And I can report that the government has since engaged 9 financial institutions who will be able to screen all loan applications from clubs, cooperatives, SMEs, who come up with viable business proposal.
Among key institutions engaged are the National Council for Construction (NCC) and the Engineering Institute of Zambia (EIZ), among others.
We have entered in an understanding with the local government in order to work in collaboration with the local authorities so that contractors at the constituency or at the rural district, they can be able to submit and find information at the local authority offices and submit the applications, and then we collaborate and ensure that we speed up the approval process for the contractors.
And because it is funded by public funds, it has got to meet the requirements that government has set with regard to the expenditure of public funds. There are 3: quality, timely delivery, at the right price. Those are the pillars that the CDF funds must meet.
All citizens are hoping to see the grassroots development that was promised under the CDF coming into fruition in 2023. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Bishop John Mambo has urged the church in Zambia to take the lead in inculcating morals in citizens in 2023 for the sake of peace and prosperity in the country. In an interview, Bishop John MAAMBA, who is also Chikondi Foundation president, says the year 2022 did not end on a good note, as it was full of defamation charges due to people disrespecting the head of state, among other issues. He has further called on the church to rise up against vices such as abuse of social media, political violence, and cadreism going forward, noting that such vices should be a thing of the past.
I think we should lift up the bar. We have been too childish in our approach on a number of things. For example, we're ending the year with a gift by the president, doing away with death penalty, and also doing away with the clause of insulting the head of state. But then it is continuing, and the body of Christ is quiet. Those who do that, whether it's opposition leaders or not, they are part of our members. Why don't you cancel them? The way I know things myself is that when you are in the opposition, you are a government in waiting. Now, I'm saying we should raise our standard as the body of Christ, that those that have been called to labor in government institutions, private sector, and so forth, should be people that have integrity. But the danger is that it starts with us, the church leaders. There's gossip, and we're not seeing good in whatever is happening.
You're watching the main news on Camnet TV. Just now we take our first set of commercials. When we get back, we have more interesting stories. Stay tuned.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti for your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
It's the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
It's Bata's back to school with a bang this January 2023. Save more kwacha with amazing slashed prices on all Taffy school shoes at Bata. Enjoy school shopping with a wide variety of assorted merchandise such as school bags and socks. Bata also has in stock white and blue school shirts for your school uniform shopping convenience. Visit your nearest Bata store countrywide and get back to school for January 2023 in magnificent Taffy style. Bata Taffys, built to last, built for life. T's and C's apply.
On 9th January 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua as he hosts the FTD President, Madam Edith Nawaku.
Why are we poor? We have resources. Why are we poor? We are poor because we like to govern from the center. The challenge is that Zambia is mapped as mineral rich, but we don't know the value of what is there. We've just been scratching on top.
As they discuss a positive look at the economy of Zambia.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98, and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying on. We'll continue with the news. Former Kankata District Commissioner and Patriotic Front Deputy National Chairperson for Women, Kavumbu Hachilonde, says the Zambian economy is on its knees, citing the increased prices of commodities. Ms. Hachilonde notes that with concern that the most affected of such economic shocks are women. She says this is so because most women are in the informal sector and need a boost to survive. Ms. Hachilonde has since appealed to President Hakainde Hichilema to reduce the poverty cycles by employing more women and generally give those opportunities that will allow them to thrive such harsh economic realities.
Being highly stressed, being on its knees, the women are more burdened. They take care of children who go to school. They take care of patients in homes and in hospitals. They respond to funerals within communities faster than the men. I want to appeal to our president to consider appointing more women to leadership positions, appointing more women to various employment positions in government, so that we can cushion the burden that the women are facing right now. We know that most women have not had access to an education, and for the few who have the skills, for the few who have been exposed, it's my appeal to President Hakainde Hichilema to consider prioritizing employing women in this country.
The Lusaka Magistrate Court has found the 81-year-old man accused of trafficking in 63 grams of marijuana with the case to answer. Delivering ruling Monday, Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chibwili says after analyzing the evidence adduced, the prosecution has established a prima facie case against Tai Mwape. We have details in the following report.
He still has more days in custody until the court gives its final verdict. Tai Mwape, an 81-year-old man who has continued to appear before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court over allegations that he trafficked 68 grams of marijuana, has been found with a case to answer. Mr. Mwape has been put on his defense by Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chimbwili after the court established in its ruling that the prosecution team has established a prima facie case against him. The accused of Kavuma village in Waterfalls area is facing a charge of trafficking in psychotropic substance. On the 23rd of November 2023, Mwape, the accused, allegedly trafficked in 68 grams of marijuana, a herbal product of cannabis, without lawful authority. He pleaded not guilty to the charge, leaving the state to call witnesses to testify against him. During trial, the court heard from Rose Chinto, a scenes of crimes officer at Charleston Police Station, narrating how, on the 26th of November 2022, she was assigned to accompany Deputy Criminal Investigations Officer Patrick Changwa to recover stolen goods in Chavuma, which led to the arrest of the accused person. In his ruling on case or no case to answer, Magistrate Chimbwili says the evidence adduced by witnesses has warranted the court to place the accused on his defense. He says a public analyst informed the court that the suspected drugs found at the accused house were tested and marijuana was found on the substance. The magistrate who quoted the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act says ingredient of the charge against the accused had been proved. The accused wife was also in court following proceedings alongside activist Michael Zulu and other sympathizers. The court has since set the 18th of January 2023 as the date for judgment. Miriam Kayemba reporting for Camnet TV News.
3 Lusaka residents accused of recently breaking into the movie TV station and stealing goods worth thousands have pleaded not guilty before the Lusaka Magistrate Court. This is in a matter in which 42-year-old Kambani Kapila, Kabamba Mwape, 25, Kelvin Kambila, 24, and Shonlas Mwanza with one count of breaking into a building with intent to commit a felony. When the matter came up before Magistrate Trevor Kasanda, Kambani Kapila, the first accused person, admitted to the charge while the rest denied. Allegations before court is that the accused between the 16th and 17th of December 2022 jointly and while acting together with the intent to steal broke into a movie TV broadcasting station and stole, among other items, 5 by 22-inch Concord television sets, 3 Apple Mac computers, 1 HP desktop computer, 1 CPU monitor, a keyboard, and 1 point-of-sale machine, all valued at $111,650. You're still watching the main news on Camnet TV. Just now we take our second set of commercials. When we get back, we have the rest of the stories. Do join us shortly.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
On 9th January 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua as he hosts the FTD President, Madam Edith Nawaku.
Why are we poor? We have resources. Why are we poor? We are poor because we like to govern from the center. The challenge is that Zambia is mapped as mineral rich, but we don't know the value of what is there. We've just been scratching on top.
As they discuss a positive look at the economy of Zambia.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98, and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back, and now the rest of the news. In international news, over 6 million Beninese were called to elect 109 MPs on Sunday, January 8. The election marks the return of opposition candidates after a 4-year absence. After 15 days of smooth campaigning, election day was calm, according to observers. The turnout is set to be lower than in 2019. The polling stations were open at 6 a.m. GMT and closed by 3 p.m. GMT. Just over 6 million voters were called to vote. Dean Israel cast his ballot with high hopes. In other news, 39 people were killed and more than 100 others injured when 2 buses crashed in a head-on collision overnight on an arterial road in Senegal's central Kaffrine region. President Macky Sall told reporters on Sunday. Images of the incident showed the completely mangled front end of a white bus with blood-flecked seats, personal items, and a shoe strewn around the tree-lined crash site. Road accidents are common in Senegal, largely because of driver error, poor roads, and of course, experts said the latest disaster has caused one of the heaviest losses of life from a single incident in recent years. Here's a roundup of international news.
The mangled wreckage of the bus lay on the side of the road Sunday as onlookers paused to comprehend the scale of the disaster. Others offered a hand collecting bits and pieces of the victims' belongings. Authorities said early investigations suggested the passenger bus suffered a burst tire and swerved off course, colliding head-on with another oncoming bus. Later on Sunday, President Macky Sall visited the scene of the accident, a highway in the country's central Kaffrine region. The difficulty to identify other bodies remains. It will be done as we go along. The state will provide all the support and solidarity to the bereaved families, but also to the injured or their families to reduce their suffering. The president also visited the injured in hospital. The country's prime minister convened an interministerial meeting on Monday and invited along transporters, drivers, insurers and security services to discuss road safety.
Beninese President Patrice Talon voted Sunday in Cotonou for the country's legislative elections. After a smooth campaign, election day was calm. According to observers, turnout is set to be lower than in 2019. Polling stations were to open at 6 a.m. GMT and close by 3 p.m. GMT. Dine Israel cast his ballot with high hopes. The members of the assembly must defend us. They will think of the population who's suffering, especially to get food. That's what matters, because we have to eat to be strong. Just over 6 million voters were eligible to take part in the polls. Despite the country's economic growth, some Beninese have yet to experience better times. The MP I'm voting for has made many promises, and we want them to be kept. Our children just need to get employed. They go to university for 1 or 2 years, and then they end up at home, selling communication units or driving a motorcycle cab. That's enough of that. 7 parties, 3 of which claim to be in the opposition, are vying for the 109 seats in the National Assembly, 24 seats being reserved for women. The parties that will receive over 10% of the votes will share the seats according to the proportional system.
And that's all in our international news. Time now for sports. With the Copper Queens already qualified to the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia, New Zealand, Zambia has an additional representative in FIFA refereeing Diana Chikotesha, who is among 55 assistant referees selected to officiate at the biggest football showpiece for women. According to the list of appointed match officials announced by the FIFA Referees Committee Monday afternoon, Chikotesha has made the cut for the tournament that runs from 20th July to 20th August 2023. Chikotesha has shown at the highest level in the last few years, with her first assignment in 2023 coming at the Algeria 2022 to be played in 2023 African National Championship. According to FIFA, there will be a total of 33 referees, 55 assistant referees and 19 video match officials that will form FIFA Team 1 and have been chosen in close cooperation with the 6 confederations based on the officials' quality and the performances delivered at FIFA tournaments as well as at other international and domestic competitions in recent years. For the first time in the history of FIFA Women's World Cup, 6 female VMOs have also been selected. In January and February, the selected match officials will participate in preparatory seminars, reviewing and analyzing video clips of real match situations and taking part in practical training sessions with players, which will be filmed to enable participants to receive instant feedback from instructors. Zambia will be making their World Cup debut and have been paired in Group C alongside Spain, Costa Rica and Japan, will kick off their campaign against Japan at Waikato Stadium in New Zealand on 22nd July. At the just-ended FIFA World Cup in Qatar, retired Zambian referee Janice Kazwe was among the officials at the biggest soccer showpiece. On that sporting item, we come to the end of the main news on Camnet TV, but before we go, let's look at the headlines once again. Traders in LUSAKA'S MUTENDERE East oppressed by political party CADRES. ZESCO to start settling arrears it owes to MAAMBA collieries as part of resolving power disputes. Zambia economic growth coincidental charges PF presidential hopeful CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI. In our international headline, Senegal mourns dozens killed in bush crash. And in sports, another World Cup record for Zambia as Chikotesha gets top appointment. We now look at the Camnet verse for today, coming from Psalms 2, verses 11 to 12. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Blessed Blessed are all who take refuge in him. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of the entire production and news crew, my name is Louisiana Lupumbwe. Bye for now, and God bless.